And we're back with TSPN with Carol Cherry. How are you doing?
Good.
And John Stettler. Hi,
Good
John.
morning. Good to see you.
You've been here before. I don't think, Carol, you were here before.
Not on CASA, on something else.
Okay. Are you new to the CASA program, or do you just work with ATCAA in what capacity?
I've been in the CASA program about 3 years now.
Okay. So you're an old pro at it almost, huh?
Well, maybe.
And John, how about you? How long have you been with the CASA program?
I've been with the program just a little over a year, coordinating the volunteers, but when I first moved to the county 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, the first volunteer project I got involved with was the CASA program.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, Carol, you're supposed to say I taught him everything he knows.
I
right?
wish.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
what is the CASA program? We're using the acronym. What does it stand for?
Court-appointed special advocate
Okay,
for children.
And this is for children.
Yes.
So really important because sometimes they're in no man or no person's land out there and
Absolutely.
really don't know what's going on through the process. It can be very confusing, I guess, for children.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
And John, what do you do? Train people? Are you an advocate yourself?
I'm an advocate myself. I started out that way, but now I train people, do the recruitment, keep the paperwork straight, try to keep all the records straight. The files, of course, are all confidential, and we need to keep them up to date and accurate. So I have that office task.
Mm-hmm. And the goal of the program, what is it? Just to help children get through the process?
Oh, well, I see children as our future leaders. I don't see them as children. I see that people that flounder, that have issues to deal with, that are not theirs, they didn't make these issues, need help. And if we can keep these kids on a path, a forward-moving path, then that's my goal.
Now, what is the goal, though, to help the children through the court process? Are these custody hearings, or what are we talking about?
We're talking about the dependency court, children that are in court because of problems that their families have.
Right.
And the court is trying to help the families resolve those issues so the children can remain in the home in a healthy and safe environment.
Now, those problems could be what? Drugs, alcohol, is domestic violence in the loop too? And
Domestic violence,
number of other things, I guess.
just nearly anything that you can think of that interrupts mental illness,
Mental health issues.
any of those kinds of issues that might come up.
And I guess, does this play into it now, just the economic strain on families?
Absolutely.
It certainly doesn't help.
With no money out there and people can't put food on the table, a lot of people losing their homes. I've heard of a lot of families having to live out of their cars now. They just don't have any options.
That's right.
And what we're looking for is to make sure that the children have a healthy and safe environment, and that the families can be as strong and stable as possible. And if that doesn't work, that we find a healthy and stable families, the system, finds a healthy place for the children to be. So,
Okay.
but what we're doing is making sure the court gets information about the child from a perspective of a trained volunteer, in addition to the lawyers and the social workers. So the court has a full range of opinions and insights into what's going on, so those decisions about children and families are really in the child's best interest.
Okay, and the volunteers don't have to be experts in this. They just have to care about children and wanting to help them make it through the process, correct?
Right. That's correct.
We have an extensive training programs to train them in anything they need to know, but if they don't have heart, it won't work.
And Carol, what age group are we talking about? We're talking, you say children, we're talking about children. Now, I don't know, you don't like to refer to them as that.
Well, I've worked with them from babies to 18.
Okay.
All the everything in between.
Now, I see on my list it says 0 to 21, but once they become 18 years old, they're basically on their own, aren't they?
That's an interesting issue. That until recently, that's exactly what happened. And children who were in foster homes and for a number of years and turned 18 were essentially discontinued from services. And the expectation was, you're an adult, you go out and make adult decisions.
Right.
And they weren't equipped to do that. And recent legislation allowed additional services up to age 21. And so that's a new issue for us as well as the system, how to deal with those kids, but give them that extra 3 years to transition from childhood to being able to make mature, responsible adult decisions without ending up being homeless and all the other things that would happen.
I know I was young at one time, as you two were, and when you're 18, you're not necessarily an adult, and you don't know how to make those correct decisions. So that's a good part of this program, then, to include that extra 3 years. It says on the flyer, being a CASA volunteer, a life-altering experience. Has it been life-altering for you?
Yes, it has.
In what way?
You know, you're seeing things that in our very sheltered lives we often don't see. And you're having to work out how to create solutions for these children. So when I work with these children, all I want to do is give them hope and give them a path.
And support.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not, this is not going in and wanting to be a junior Perry Mason. This is going in for the reason of helping children. It is strict confidentiality on these issues because they're very personal to the children and families, and of course they're underage. So.
Right.
Absolutely.
The training classes start in January. So how do people get in touch with you, and how much time will it take?
We have a 30-hour training program that will tailor time and place to the convenience of people who are available to us. All you have to do is give us a call down at the ATCAA office. My extension is 264. And let us know. We'll send you out some information. We'll talk about it, and we'll set up those classes, and we'll have some successful volunteers thanks to your help.
And that's 223-1485, and you can get a hold of John at extension 264.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Wish you success with the upcoming training program. And right now, we are going to go back to Heather and our next guest.